Welcome to the On the Couch podcast. We're here with the hosts, me, Joao, and
Ava.
and we're here with our special guest, our previous technical teacher, Max. Hey, Max.
Hello everyone.
Yay! And also we got our crew. We got Joy, Jed, May as well. So yeah, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
So I'm a teacher at LSA. I teach technical, so camera. I've also taught in Cambridge and Southampton. About myself, I like pizza a lot. Love to cycle. Morning person.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
Unless there's anything else I've missed.
Oh, so not only are you a teacher, but do you also have some experience with like the industry in general outside LSA, if it were like before LSA or maybe during it?
Yeah, so before LSA I had a bit of experience in the industry, nothing like crazy. I have an IMDb credit for Green Street 3 as security. I don't know if any ever seen Green Street.
No.
There was a third one apparently.
Security, as in like you would security or you play security?
I know I looked after things at night. But no, I much preferred. I soon realised I much preferred like smaller stuff.
Yeah.
But in terms of like what I do now, mostly work with friends to produce stuff that sort of. I have quite a few dance friends and like produce stuff for them to like kind of help me get the stuff out.
Okay, that's cool.
Awesome. Was the media industry always your first choice, or did you have anything else, like other interests?
I think when I was younger, I wanted to be a footballer. Didn't work out. But no, for a long time it was always like film. I think when I was probably a bit younger than you, I was about 15. I was like, Lord of the Rings is the best thing ever. I want to sort of do that, and ever since then it's either been like studying it, or doing it a little bit, or teaching it. So definitely.
Did you know like that you like film from a young age, or like how old do you think? Like how old?
It was really Lord of the Rings when I watched that. I must have been like 14 or 15 when I watched it like properly. I thought like this is mental. But yeah, before that I was very much into like other stuff. I wasn't too fazed by films.
Okay.
And then Peter Jackson worked some magic.
So, if you haven't seen, like, if say you hadn't seen Lord of the Rings, then you wouldn't have like done all this, come all this way.
No, maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe not. If I hadn't watched Lord of the Rings, I might not be here on this couch.
And oh yeah, of course. And you said that you want to be a footballer. So, what? Do you like football? Like in general, do you watch it now or?
Yeah, I do watch football. I support Man United.
Okay. I don't know.
But yeah, I'd like to play it as well. At my previous place, I was a bit of I scored a few goals.
Oh, nice. What position?
I used to be a defender, but I don't like heading the ball.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
it gives me a headache. So I just went to the other end of the pitch and just used my feet.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most exciting positions anyway. So, what knowledge have you gained from the film industry, or like any useful information that you can share with us?
For like specifically like young people.
Yeah, like just in general, like interesting, like useful information about the industry.
I think like the biggest thing that I sort of realised early on, I think what's quite nice about it is like it often like is called an industry, like the film industry, and it has that sort of, the word industry doesn't feel right. Like when you look at film, like you think of like magic, you think of like philosophy, like you think really big, like you don't think of industry. And of course there has to be people like working out money and stuff like that, but I think when you're there, like you're not in an industry, it's like it's a Tuesday and it's raining and the person next to you couldn't sleep because like their kid was up all night. Like it feels like it's like a very human experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things I learned. Is like, I'd probably tell you and I would teach you that you're going to go into the industry. It's not really that. You're kind of going into like many situations with real people, and you have to realize that you're not the world doesn't revolve around you. Like, everyone sort of comes in with their own thing, and you got to try and find connections, and sometimes it's like really fleeting. You can be on a set for like a week, and you can be there, not talk to anyone and not connect, and it's not so fun. But if you can be there and you can talk to people,
Yeah.
and like you can connect with them, like then you stay in it, and then you kind of enjoy it. Like, if you think about it as an industry, I think it's not quite right. Like, it's a human thing.
Yeah. Because it's also like, it's really interesting when there's a lot of work that goes behind the film as well. Like, there's so many people, so many different roles as well, and it's not just one person. It's not like just a director, for example. Like, there's so many different roles that maybe people don't know about. So
Yeah,
that's what
and I
makes it
think
really-
like on posters, like directed by,
yeah.
and maybe like written by, but like just stick around and like look at the credits,
Yeah.
and that's what you need to know. Like, film is just made by people, and generally speaking, like they're pretty great and they're really fun. So
That's a good answer.
thanks.
If you if you could change one thing about like the media industry, what would you change? Is there any parts you don't like,
Just one thing.
or multiple things?
Lots of stuff. I think
Yeah.
it's like it's not. It doesn't represent the creativity of any sort of country, like in terms of race, ethnicity, gender. It mainly just white guys doing it, and that I changed that completely. Like, the more diverse the people behind the camera is just as important. The stories that you tell, again, we're getting better, but it's slow and it's 100 years too late type of thing. I think that'd be 100% that'd be the thing. It's like, it just needs to diversify, and we can talk about in front of camera stuff, and that's really good and important, and you need those people to look up to and have role models. But like, it matters who's holding the camera. Like, it matters like who's part of your crew. I think that's 100% easy.
So you like, it's all about like progression up in the years, because like many years ago it was just straight white male
Yeah,
men just doing it.
mostly now as well.
So yeah, it's
But I
good.
mean, there are like definitely those change, and it's not like it'd be horrible for young people to like, oh, it's depressing and it's going to be horrible, because
Yeah.
it won't always be. There'll be hard moments, and it's like unjust. But yeah, I think that would be really like a good thing. We can just get a bit more different types of people behind camera.
So, do you have any like stories or funny stories or any like memorable moments about like the industry or anything you've done, or probably as a teacher as well?
I was a teacher.
Just any like memorable moments.
Sorry, I thought Joy was going to say. Any memorable moments on set? I would say, I know I had some. There's one. I guess again, it's quite a small thing, but once you wrap as a crew, on like a small budget thing, it's not like a studio set. Generally, you might have a place to like kind of go. There's one film I was helping on, and it's like some guy's house who was the camera op, and just like there when. Everyone sort of went away, and it's just me and this other guy, and we're just talking like till 2 a.m. and like I can't remember much from what else happened that shoot. Like, I can't really remember what the film was about. But, like, I remember that, and I think that's what sort of keeps you going.
Yeah.
A little bit is like having those moments, and you do get to meet lots of different people. And I know it's probably not the funnest answer, but for me that was quite memorable.
Okay, so how did you find out about LSA?
I found out about LSA. It's very boring. Teachers, it's a website called TES, and teachers look at it for jobs. And they were on there, and I thought that sounds fun. And I had a really great job in Cambridge, but I thought this was maybe a bit too good to turn down.
So what did you do in Cambridge? Like, was it media film related, or was it?
Yeah, it's teaching like sixth form, just like this, but the college was really great. The work-life balance was really nice. I love cycling, so Cambridge was brilliant. also in Cambridge, in the summer they have cows in like the parks.
Mm.
So that was nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like, what made you want to become a teacher? Because you were in the industry. You did some things before being a teacher, right?
Yeah, so I was at college just like you, studying like a very similar thing that you study now, slightly different. And then I went to university, and I did a half course like film studies and philosophy. So I didn't make any films at uni. I kind of wanted to learn a bit more about film history. I wanted to learn a bit more kind of depth of film rather than like technical aspects. And the philosophy part, I just wanted to become a bit better. So I thought philosophy would be good. And then after that, like in between those, well, in that university time, I was sort of helping out on stuff, and like previous friends were like on shoots and sort of give me jobs, and summer holidays I'll do stuff there. But I think it was, I just really like education. I like learning, and although you definitely learn all the time when you're on a film set, it's slightly different. I quite learning about like theories and stuff like that. So I just really liked education. I thought, why don't I just do that? And maybe I can keep doing other things on the side. And again, I very much like the smaller stuff. I much prefer like working with a tiny crew than like a big crew. So working with friends or people works really nicely right now.
So relating to that question about you liking education, what's your favourite bit about being a teacher? Yeah.
Favourite bit about teaching? This is very old, but like I sort of know what's going on compared to people like my age. They didn't really know like how you people think. And I think that's kind of cool. Like, oh no, I think one thing that's really cool about this generation is like how like open you are and how kind you are. Generally, I think quite often like they're like, oh, kids, they're not very like open, or like going to be bullied. So like, I mean that does happen, but I like that a lot. I think I very much play like a very supportive role, like a small supportive role, but it is fun to like play a part in someone's growth.
Yeah.
I think that's quite difficult in other jobs. I think so it's a small part for me, but I enjoy that.
So do you get upset when students leave? Like emotionally attached?
No, I think it's a great thing, because if they've left, it means they've done it, and it means like I've done my part. And I think you want them to leave because it means they get to go on to something else interesting. So it is obviously a little bit sad, but it is nice to see them leave, because it's like, oh, I've done a good job and they're doing well.
Awesome. Are you like still active in film industry and TV? Like, are you still helping? I know you said with your friends. Are you still doing that, or is teaching taking up everything?
Like teaching, like takes up quite a lot, especially like beginning of the year. But I'm gonna shoot something in Easter with a friend. He's just trying to be an actor, so I'm gonna try help him. So yeah, Easter. So generally like holidays is when I can like do stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the questions here is, what occupation would you be doing if it weren't for film or teaching or film industry? You said footballer, but was there anything else that, like, if you won secondary or just school, like what were you planning to do if it weren't for film?
I think if it wasn't for film, if I could do something else, it'd be some sort of I've done it like a little bit, but I quite like graphic design. I quite like that type of working. I'm not sure I'd be any good at it, but graphic design I quite like. I like book covers a lot. Like if I could be a book cover designer, wow.
Yeah, that's. What's the what? No.
Cover design. Well, honestly, that'd be so cool.
No, that's very interesting, like, unique. But like,
it's not that.
No, not unique. As in, like, it's interesting.
Someone's job must be just a design.
No, it's interesting, because normally when you say graphic design, I just think of graphic design in general. But
I'm thinking about
then you said like book design specifically.
I always judge a book by its cover. Like I 100% go into like what it stands for is whatever, and I'm gonna pick it if it has a nice cover. I'm a sucker for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the point of like the.
Yeah.
That's how they try
Yeah.
and make it nice, I guess.
I fall
book?
into the trap.
What book cover would you, if example, trying to think of a book,
Mhm.
I can't. What? Harry Potter.
Mhm.
Would you like? Would you want to design? Is there certain types of books that you want to design covers for, or?
I like there's this book called Humiliation, and it's like a series of like short stories. I think it's South America, maybe Uruguayan, perhaps. But the way I like the use of, do you have it there?
Is it any of these ones?
Yeah, so like that one. I know. I like the idea of like. I just like words and like fonts a lot, and I like very like simple, but I kind of like it feels like everything's sort of like spreading around it and like it's curling up, and I feel like when humiliation is like such an awful thing, but they sort of captured it quite well, I thought.
We're at 30 minutes, so do you want to take a break?